everybody. I am so honored. And I tell you, I cannot just hold my excitement about who I'm speaking to today. New head coach of basketball for our Fresno State Bulldogs. Coach Aramide, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. I'm good, Darren. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate that very much. And I tell you, it's when I heard the news that you were put into this position, well, shocked, I was pleased because I knew what you did where you were previously. I knew you were the assistant before. And let's talk a little bit about that. You played overseas at a couple of places. You can talk a little bit for those who are not too familiar with you about what you did through playing in the professional leagues overseas and over at, was it ASU or Arizona? ASU, correct?
Yeah. I coached at Arizona State. Yes.
Yep. And then
Uh,
just everything. Throw us all in. I love it.
Darren, man, I've been all over. I was born in the UK. I was born in East London. I'm from East London, born and raised. My mom was born also in East London. My grandmother was born in East London. And, I fell in love with basketball at an early age, 8 years old. By 10, I grew to about 6'1". And, my dad is from the U.S. here, so one year I visited him in New York and, he was just like, whoa, like, man, you're so tall, like you gotta play, and I pretty much begged my mom and she let me go and I moved to New York City early, went to middle school, high school in New York, went to Lafayette High School,
Love that story.
graduated from there. Yeah,
Mhm.
graduated from there. So, was raised in Brooklyn, born in East London, raised in Brooklyn. And
Two Brooklyn
yeah, I
guys. I
mean,
love this. I love this.
I know. That's why big smile on my face once you said Brooklyn. So, you know, uh, definitely was raised in Brooklyn, got my toughness from Brooklyn, my resilience, my
Mhm.
work ethic, from Brooklyn and, graduated, one of the top players in my class and decided to go straight from high school to the pros in Europe.
Mhm. Oh, very
Right.
beautiful.
So, like, yeah, played at home for a while, played in Spain for a while, and then realized, that the NBA wasn't going to happen. I wasn't good enough for the NBA. Realized that, so decided to go get my degree, right?
Mhm.
And got my degree at Thompson Rivers University in Canada. Where I was able to play as well, right? Because Canada doesn't have the same rules as the NCAA, you
Right.
know. And that's why I picked up coaching. Every
Mhm.
summer we would coach those camps, those summer camps,
Mhm.
and I would coach the kids and they would enjoy it. And, I picked up coaching. I picked up coaching and I really, really enjoyed it. And I started with middle school coaching, then I did high school coaching, then I did prep school coaching, and then now eventually into college coaching. So I've pretty much done it all.
I love it. I love hearing that. And there's just so much I want to unpack. So, without going into too much detail, were you expecting the call? I mean, God knows you deserve it. When I said you deserve it, nobody deserves anything. You know what I mean? You earned it. You followed those steps. You took that hard road. You played overseas. You coached at different levels. I mean, literally, you start at the back of the line and just worked your way up, middle school, travel, all that other stuff. And now you're here. What was it like getting that call?
Oh, sorry, Darren. I lost the sound.
Oh, can you hear me now? What
And
was the what was it
yeah, I
like?
can hear you now. Sorry, I lost the sound.
No worries. What was it like getting that call?
Man, um, Darren, I can't lie. It was a super blessing.
Sure. Amen.
Myself, my family, my kids, my wife, we were all over the moon, man, because, to be honest with you, there are people that work 20, 30 years in this profession and don't get to have a head coaching title beside their name at this level,
Right.
so I was just, when the president called me and, just told me that he had done his research and so many people in the community have vouched for me and, he understands that I have juice with the players and,
Mhm.
he wanted me to keep the program stable while we were going through this time. I was shaking. I was shaking. Honestly, I was shaking, because I really didn't, I wanted it, but I didn't expect it to truly happen, so
Right.
when it happened, I mean, it was just an incredible moment.
I mean, first of all, I was so happy to hear it. And our mutual friend, when I spoke about it with her, and I was just elated that this happened. And um, people say, "Well, I wasn't ready," or "I was ready." You're always ready. It's going to be different, right? It's going to be there's stuff that you learn, um, but be prepared because that's what life is, right? A bunch of things that happen when you're expecting other things to happen, right? And be
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
So, what, without giving away any industry secrets, what is your protocol? What are you going to do right now? Meaning, do you start working transfer portal? Do you start looking at talent? Do you start hiring staff? And it's probably the answer is all the above. But I mean, how do you find yourself that focused thing for you to follow, that way that you are going to manage the first 90 days, much less the next 6 months, into next season and beyond?
Well, I mean, Darren, the word I would use is preparation. Preparation. I'm preparing right now. I'm preparing everything, and the head coaching search is still going on. And right now, I want to win the job. I'm doing everything in my power to win the job. Right. So
absolutely. But you're the one. Yeah.
That's the number one goal, is to win the job. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm keeping the current players we have academically eligible. I'm making sure that they go to class. They're doing what they need to do, right? They're, acting right on campus, and they understand that there's leadership. There's a leader, and you got to follow my lead, right? I'm also looking in the transfer portal. I have a few guys that I've spoken to already that I feel very, very good about, to come in and help us win next year. So, I'm doing all of the above to be prepared. So when the president does call and say, "Hey, you know what? You're the man for the job," I'm ready.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I mean, why not? I see it. I mean, and it's interesting growing up where I did in Brooklyn, and I'm a lot older than you, obviously, but it's so funny. I follow two teams. I follow Fresno State and I follow St. John's. And in a lot of ways, you have a very similar thing going on in terms of rebuilding programs that were once so good and are close, closer than people think. I mean,
right.
Again, from 10,000 feet, I look at Fresno State as a place where you can have some nice talent. Those people that feel like, hey, I should have won here. I'm going to go to Fresno State and prove everybody wrong. And the place where, you know what, my last year, my super senior year, I'm going to take advantage of the transfer portal and enjoy that California lifestyle for a while. Though Fresno's not near the beach, just letting you know, right? But yeah, I mean, and that has to be a game changer, right? The whole transfer portal and some of the other things, right? To the game that you grew up playing.
Right. And it is. And you know what? This industry, I always say you either evolve or die.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that don't like the transfer portal, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And you have to evolve and you have to get with it. And, 2 years ago, I was at Arizona State and I helped get 6 guys in the transfer portal, and it changed our season. We went on a huge run, right? We went to March Madness, so I've seen success. I believe it, and to be honest, it's the quickest way to turn around your program is the transfer portal. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's great. I mean, listen, it's the world we live in right now, right? I mean, NIL is real. I mean, that's another whole thing. But so you are the head coach of a school that wants to win so badly. I mean, you talk about those teams used to sell an arena. People love their basketball in Central California. Talk a little bit about feeling and playing and coaching in front of what could be a packed house. Let's get those raftered curtains down. Let's fill that whole place up. Say Montana, let's go.
I mean, just the potential, is just unreal. I mean, all season long, I go into the arena, the Save Mart Center, and, there's 16,000 seats in there. We could have that place rocking. We could have that place rocking, but we have to bring in a great entertaining product to bring the fans in. And that's what I'm committed to. That's what I'm committed to. I'm committed to filling, those stands and bringing the Tark days back, when it was just sold out, standing room only. That's the type of environment that I want to coach in. And that's the type of environment I'm dedicated to bringing back to Fresno State,
Yeah, I get it, and I know you want to keep your current players. You talked about that and that whole thing, but what is Coach Amarane's philosophy that you don't want to give away? Again, secrets. Are you a high pressure? Are you? I know you sound like fun and exciting. Are you more defensive minded? I mean, what is your? And I'm sure you're into discipline because being that disciplined player. Talk a little bit about that without giving anything away.
Well, I'm a Bobby Hurley guy. I'm from the Bobby Hurley tree, right?
Yep.
So, I'm a big offensive guy. I want to run. I want to shoot the threes. I want to get dunks up. I want our big men to run and set screens and roll hard and finish. But I also want to take some stuff from Justin Hutt, because he was a brilliant defensive guy.
Yes, he was.
He was a brilliant defensive guy, and I've learned so much from him. So I believe if I can take some stuff from Bobby offensively and sprinkle a little bit of Hutt defensively, I think you get the right balance to win games, right? And to have fun winning games. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be the style. That's going to be my philosophy.
Before I let you go, two more quick. How do you relax and such? People don't realize. I mean, I used to coach Division III, so it's just nothing compared to D1. But there's really no break. So, like, if you could talk a little bit about, and again, you're blessed to be where you are. It's like the work starts now. There is no off season. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, yeah, it's an everyday, all year round, 24/7, 365-day job, because, even when you get your team together, you're recruiting for 2025 and 2026 and 2027, and you've got to know those players, you know what I'm saying? And, then you got to know all the players that are in the transfer portal, you know what I'm saying? And then you still got to work out your guys that you have here and make sure they're academically eligible. And then you got to fundraise, because you got to bring money in, right? There's got to be NIL.
That's so huge.
NIL.
Yep.
Yes. So, every day there's something. Every day there's something. There is no more off season. There's no more, hey, hang with the family in May. Every day, if you want to win in this business, you've got to be doing something for the program.
Speaking of the program, I'm sure that your inbox must be just filled right now with, hey, coach, I'm looking for a job, or I'd like to. How do you go through that? I mean, it's not easy, right? And everybody has a friend, and they mean well, but that is like sensory overload real quick. Do you have your process figured out yet? How you're going to do all that? Because that can't be easy.
The first thing that you need in this job is you need to be organized. You need to be able to kind of organize yourself and, take a moment to really sit down and write things down. I'm a big, write down guy. So I write everything down. I make sure so I don't forget. That's one. And then two, being a great leader, you have to understand that you've got to get help. You have to have help. You have to have people that are helping you, and I think the more people that are helping you, the more organized you can be. One man can't do it all by himself, But saying that, it has been overwhelming. This last week has just been incredible. I've had about 800 missed calls in the last 5 days. I've had 1,700, emails in my inbox just of, potential transfer portal kids, high school kids, people wanting jobs, people wanting to be on the staff, So it's been overwhelming. I can't lie to you. It's been overwhelming, but I'm so blessed, to be in
Oh, yeah.
that position, and I've dreamed about being in this position my whole life,
And you
so I'm
get
ready.
it, but
I'm
that's
ready.
my point. Go
I'm
get it.
ready.
I tell people, open mouths are the only
Yes,
ones that get fed. You want it, go get it. Why
yes,
somebody 25 years didn't get it, and sometimes it's just circumstances. Sometimes it goes, you didn't open your mouth. You didn't say, I
yes,
am the person. You want it, go get it. That's
yes.
and I think, and again, I'm just my philosophy. I'm not a doctor of philosophy, but my initials are DR, so same thing. But I think somebody with your background specific went overseas, did some of the tougher things. I think you'll relate a lot better with the player who's going to come and play for you a lot of times than the person who kind of came in a little easy. I mean, Ted Williams in baseball, different sport, but he would say all the time that it was tough for him to coach it. Willie Mays said the same thing because when I saw the ball, I hit it. When it was hit, I caught it. You couldn't
Right,
teach it. Casey Stengel, I keep using baseball as a reference, just he was a very good manager because he struggled and was a marginal, quote unquote, marginal player. And by the way, people, the marginal player at T1 is the best damn player you've ever seen in your life in your neighborhood. I'm just letting you know. All right. I mean, that's how elite this
no
thing
doubt, no doubt.
I'm just
Tell him, Darren, no doubt.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was head of hockey operations for the Fresno Monsters for 3 years. Trust me, our backbenchers are better than the players you'd ever. So people just got to
Right.
get used to that. Anyway, different subject before I go. How do you relax? Like, what do you like to do? Are you a movie guy? Are you a hiker? You and your wife? Do you like to go visit tourists? How do you relax? Be able to, especially now, you're gonna have to be able to shut it down a little bit.
You know what, Darren? I've got a great wife. I've got young kids, 13, 11, and 8.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And when I go home, those guys are my outlet. I love to play basketball with my son. My
Perfect.
daughters play volleyball.
Right.
So we love to hang out at home. We watch movies. We are very competitive in Monopoly. We spend time together. We spend really, really good time together, and it makes me glow, and it makes me wake up the next day hungry to get after it. So that's how I spend my downtime with my family.
Well, before I let you go, I just want to say to the people listening and watching, we'll get this out right away. I've interviewed a lot of coaches over the last couple of years, professional hockey coaches, football coaches, basketball coaches. Fresno State has the right man for the job. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Darren.
Coach, thank you for your
Thank
time
you,
today.
Darren.
Be well.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate it. All right. Have a great one. Thank you.
Be well, Coach.